Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Aaron St. Denis at FFMadScientist. That is Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Universe. And you know you're ADHD when you're trying to skip your own intro to get to the fucking profile. That's how excited and hyper I get for these. I'm sitting there going, how do I fucking fast forward this? 22 seconds. This intro's taking forever. Can't I just talk?
Yeah, move it along. Let's go.
Everyone's so impatient they shut their own fucking intro theme down just to get to the profile. And the profile is the rookie sneak peek of Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. This one is written by me. If you want to go over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com, you can check out the full breakdown there written by me. By the time this is published on Wednesday, the article will be out at the same time. They are linked on Twitter and in the article, so you should be able to find them both pretty easily. So, like I said, Brian Thomas, wide receiver from LSU. He is from Walker, Louisiana, and was a 4-star recruit out of Walker High School. Those ones are always easy. Like I said, I've had some hard time with some of these high school names where it's like, who names this shit? But Walker High School out of Walker, Louisiana. I like what you're doing, Walker. Keep it simple. In his freshman year, Thomas Jr. was an immediate producer, appearing in 12 games. During that season, he hauled in 28 receptions for 359 receiving yards and 2 TDs. Sophomore season of 2022 saw him put up nearly identical production in 13 games, recording 27 catches for 330, but he saw his touchdown total double to 4. His final season at LSU before declaring as a junior, he exploded in 13 games. He put up 68 receptions for a whopping 1,177 yards and 17 touchdowns. 2 for 17. So then he goes 359, 361, 1177. That is a breakout if I've ever seen one. What stood out to you besides the fact that did he go crazy in 2023 as a junior for LSU?
Yeah, I mean it's him and Neighbors, so no wonder Daniels was the Heisman, right? Like that's 2 first-round wide receiver talents. Like it's absurd, but he kind of gets
conceivably he could have had the wide receiver 2 and 4, 3 and 5, 2 top 5 receivers on his team.
Absurd. This is very similar to LSU a few years ago, obviously, where they had Chase and Jefferson and Burrow. Like you're going to get a similar fantasy push from these 3 guys. But
those were good.
Yeah, they're very good. These guys live up to that. That's doing something. Thomas he's going to go under the radar because he isn't as well-rounded as other wide receivers. There's a lot of upside baked into him, but it comes with risk. But he's a prototypical build, 6'4", 200 pounds, and he could freaking move. That's narrow down to that.
You're doing my job. Don't do. I'm going to get into his measurables now because that's my job. He is 6'4", 89th percentile, 205 pounds, 59th percentile. Age is 21.7, and he was a junior. Now that Jesse's done my job for me, go right ahead, Jesse.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, it's the athleticism that really jumps out at you. When you're watching his tape, you're like, who is this guy? And he just flies. You see a couple deep balls. He's literally just burning past dudes. He had one corner route, come back down, literally just turn on a guy, and he just took a house. And you're just like, this dude's how big? And he's that fat? So it's just the athleticism, really. That's the thing. He's not super refined as a route runner, so he needs to work on that. But that in particular, you don't get that level of athleticism and that big of a wide receiver usually. So, this is the thing where it's oh, my God, the talent has you kind of drooling.
I did notice that. He'll be out there, and you're right. He's not a refined route runner. So there's times where he'll just be out there, and it's he's getting shifty. And it's oh, he's not getting open. What's going on? Then it's all of a sudden, it's fuck it. Gone. I'm done with these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just takes off. So I'll get into the scouting report there. Some of his strengths. He has quick twitch ability and excellent body control, explosive separator off the line, as we mentioned, and damn near impossible to keep pace with. He's an elite combination of size, speed, and strength, and could be your prototypical alpha. Very elusive and physical after the catch with great yak ability, and he has great ball tracking skills, and his downfield presence makes him a potentially elite deep ball threat in the NFL. Sound about right? Did I miss anything?
No, it's both them and Neighbors. It's really aggressive when you watch them on tape. It's almost violent in the way they move. You're just like, oh my God. So yeah, like these are the ideal, just if you love athleticism, like Brian Thomas is for you.
I was trying to come up with a comp, but like nobody I could think of comp to him where he's huge and just takes off. And it's like, holy shit, what was
it's like pre-injury Pickens kind of in a way. Like that's kind of the thing you're looking at because it's similar build with him. But Pickens had dealt with injuries, so he didn't really display it. But like you see in the NFL, like Pickens gets the house call. Like that's kind of what you're talking about with Brian Thomas.
See, Pickens, I have a wall up in my head now. For Pickens, anytime I imagine a play he's been in, it's just a OBJ impression. I can't see him doing anything besides either throwing hissy fits or making one-handed catches, and I'm completely tunnel vision on Pickens now. He is a one skill set player for me, and it's just I just imagine him out there making 3-yard one-handed catches, and that
right, just dunking on dudes. Yeah,
he is a circus act to me at this point, and I've got complete blinders on. But the weakness is, as we said earlier, underdeveloped route tree with limited variations. Needs to refine those cuts, especially on these shorter routes. His footwork and execution can be sloppy, especially in the short and intermediate areas. Like we said, kind of specializes on the go route here and the post route and just fucking take off and head for the end zone. See you 70 yards later. He only had 1 year of elite production, as we said before, but good God, was it elite. The 2 years prior, in essentially the same amount of games, he had basically the same amount of receptions and yards combined as his final year, and he had 10 more touchdowns in his final year. So you have 2 years of not really doing anything and just kind of being a guy to being a stud, and that always worries me. It's like, could he not beat out the other guys there? Is he just better better in his final year because he's older and bigger than everyone? These guys always worry me where it's 1 year of elite production and it's their last year. It's like the exact opposite of a guy like Justin Ross, where his elite year of production was as a freshman and then he battled injuries and blah, blah, blah. That didn't scare me as much. This scares me. Like I see the talent, I see the size, speed, and physicality. But good God, do I hate these guys where they do 1 year and then it's like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to the NFL now because I'm a stud. And it's like there's guys where I thought they shouldn't have come back. Like Travion Henderson, obviously different position. I thought he should have gone to the NFL draft this year because there's nobody competing against him. But this is one guy we're in a loaded receiver class. I said, well, he's not going to go as a top 5 receiver, which means he's probably not going to go till maybe the second.
I think he's going to go in the first.
I had that written down too, but you could see it where I just thought, the chances of coming back, I thought he could have improved his draft stock. Having said that, you run the risk of it's going to be a new quarterback. So maybe he didn't want to go back.
Injuries too, yeah.
This profile scares me. And for all the potential, it scares me.
It reminds me of Jalen Waddle a few years ago. Like it's a mystery box because you didn't have any production, then you have the one mega breakout season where he was playing with Devonta Smith. It's kind of similar to that, right? And he's the second guy. He falls a little bit behind Neighbors just because Neighbors is ridiculous wide receiver. So everything is kind of there's a lot of stuff working against him. But overall, man, it's just if you're a team in the 20 through 30 pick, you're like, do we need a wide receiver? Okay, this guy's got freak tools. Let's grab him here and see what we can make him. Because if you can develop this guy, the talent is there to make him a premier wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, no, the talent is there. This just seems to be I feel like every year there's 1 or 2 of these receivers. Like it was Treylon Burks 2 years ago, Quentin Johnston last year, where I say the range of outcomes is like Marvin Harrison, he's either going to be excellent or pretty good. This guy could be fucking wide receiver 1 in 2 years, or he could be in the CFL. There is a range of outcomes, and I hate these guys, especially because in a rookie draft, you're going to have to take this guy back into the first round. He is your first round pick, and that scares me because this could be N'Keal Harry, Jalen Reagor, like I said, Treylon Burks, or it could be, I don't think it's Justin Jefferson, but I hate these guys where it's, it's a home run or it's a complete strikeout. I'd rather take me the safe triple, but I guess I'm a little more risk averse. So
I swing big, so I don't mind swing. If I'm at pick 111, he's there. I'm gonna be like, screw it, click, let's roll. Let's see what happens.
Depends on the build of my team. A lot of times when I do a rebuild, I tear the whole thing down. So when I come back, I have a lot of picks. So I guess I can afford to miss on them. If I have a mid to late first round pick, this is probably not the guy I'm hoping falls to me. I feel like he's got just as much potential as the top 4 or 5, I
Mhm.
feel like he's got a lot more downside and a lot more risk to him. But I guess we'll see. As far as, excuse me, expected draft capital and ideal landing spot, I have him as a likely late first round pick. I could see him going anywhere in the 20s to the end of the round. He's another one. I put ideal landing spot KC, but we do this every year. There's going to be what? Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. There's like 6 elite teams that always draft at the end of the first round. They always probably need a receiver. So I didn't pick Buffalo because, Stephon Diggs is still probably there. Who the hell knows with Zay Flowers? I don't think Zay Flowers is an alpha, but Casey, Kelsey could be gone. They don't really have an alpha. I don't think Rashee Rice is an alpha. I don't think Zay Flowers is an alpha. I think they're both best off as the B guy. So if he can step in and be that alpha, I think he gives with Rice or Zay Flowers, gives a Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk kind of feel to it. So that's where I am. I am going, where do the Chiefs pick? We don't know yet, but it's going to be one of the last 4, and that's why I have him going to the Chiefs, which means if he goes to the Chiefs, he's no longer a late first round pick in your draft. He's a mid first round pick in your rookie draft. So
hello 106. Yeah, he's going right there with Bowers. Like that's what's gonna happen.
Going early. Good luck. Where would you like to see him?
I think that's a good one. Buffalo's another good play. It's obviously like you connect him to a good quarterback. That's the easiest way for these wide receivers to succeed and hit their upside. So if he's going to any one of those places, I think Dallas is kind of one that's sleeping, or you could do you could obviously talk yourself into the Rams because they're a little thin. But it's any one of these late picks where like Tampa Bay is actually a good fit because they're likely moving on from Mike Evans. So like you replace Mike Evans with Brian Thomas, you try to replicate some of the same things. So like any one of those back half of the first round picks, I think is good. And if it works out where he's like an early second round pick, like in the NFL draft, I'm really not worried about him. So say if he falls to pick like 35, it's kind of whatever. It's the same thing for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I wouldn't mind Tampa Bay there. I think they need to move on from Godwin. If you told me their receivers next year were Evans and Godwin or Brian Thomas and Trey Palmer, I don't mind Brian Thomas Jr. and Trey Palmer. The problem is they're kind of similar to me. Palmer's smaller, but they're both like fucking just burning down each sideline. That's a handful. Yeah. They're field stretchers, that's for sure. If they could add Godwin, if they could add the guy we're talking about in 2 days, Ladd McConkey, as kind of a slot option, that's fucking lethal. But that's a lot of draft capital to be spending on receivers for them.
Right, especially with their line issues and stuff. Yeah, 100%. But hey, it'd be a lot of fun. Yes. It would be a lot of fun.
All right, well, that concludes the 2024 rookie sneak peek of LSU wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. If you want to check out my written profile, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com, or you can check back tomorrow for Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For Aaron and Jesse, take care and have a great day.